I came face to face with the full extent of the legal justice system, and I've never felt more crushed. I was walking down my apartment hallway when I heard a man grunting and a woman screaming stop around the corner. I dropped whatever I was doing and instantly rushed over, and when I saw what was happening, I damn near went into shock. The man had her on the ground and was relentlessly wailing on her. He was calling her a cheating W word and telling her he was going to kill her tonight. The red from her face was splattering everywhere, and I remember she just looked up and briefly locked eyes with me. Now this guy was much bigger than I was, and he had a knife on him, but I had no choice. I ran at him and tackled him to the ground, screaming for help as loud as I could. I tried to hold him down and yelled at the girl to run, but I couldn't. He simply overpowered me and proceeded to stomp my head into the ground, fracturing my jaw, my nose, and knocking 2 teeth out. I'm guessing one of the neighbors called the police by this point, because that's when I heard what sounded like officers downstairs. Well, it's exactly at the moment that the assaulter actually helped the girl up off the ground, and get this, the two of them literally ran off together, and the worst part, she went with him willingly. But somehow, it gets worse. The police found me minutes later, and for some reason they assumed I was the original assailant, and because I was too beaten up to clearly talk or think, they handcuffed me and threw me into the cop car without even questioning me. At the station, I kept pleading for them to take me to the hospital because I was so hurt, but they refused. They knew I did it, and told me to just confess already. They interrogated for what felt like hours, threatening me with years in prison. I was honestly close to cracking, but that's when a miracle happened. I was simply let go. Turns out, one of the officers went back to the apartment to speak with the neighbor who originally called the police, and after getting the description of the actual assailant, realized I was not him. I was promptly released, but refused a ride to the hospital and forced to make my own way there. And if by this point you're thinking this can't get worse, you're very wrong. You see, after I got out of the hospital, 4 weeks and $17,000 by the way, I went back to the police to press charges against the man who assaulted me. At first, this was no problem. They tracked the guy down and brought him in for questioning pretty quickly. Next, they contacted me letting me know the case was moving forward. Now, the only thing left was to track down the woman, the other victim of his assault, and get her to corroborate my story. Easy peasy, right? Nope. You see, they did track her down and bring her in, but she refused to cooperate. She straight up lied when questioned by the police, saying that I provoked the attack by lunging at him, and had I not done that, I would not have gotten my head smashed in. The police proceeded to ask her if she's sure that's what happened, and when she doubled down on her lie, they simply let her go. I remember being in utter disbelief, but despite this, I wasn't ready to back down. I tried to continue pressing charges, but that all ended once I realized the consequences of the woman saying I had lied. No lawyers would take my case on because it was so obvious I was lying. When trial date came around and I showed up to court, I was told to get out, because my involvement in the incident was 100% my fault, and I was lucky the guy wasn't pressing charges on me. Long story short, I did the math and realized he had committed 5 felony offenses, but that was brought down to 1 single misdemeanor count in court, and that only happened because once again, the girl began lying about what he did. In the end, the assailant was sentenced to 30 days in jail and given a 4-hour seminar on anger management. He never had to pay a dime in compensation toward my medical expenses either, and as a final cherry on top, I know for a fact that the man and woman got back together after all of this, because they still live in my apartment complex, and just the other week, I saw them screaming at each other in the hallway. This time though, I knew better and stayed out of it.